Hello and welcome to the 2002 Mazda Rx-7 FD. Now this is one of the most overpowered vehicles in Gran Turismo 7. Now what makes this car absolutely broken is the engine swap that can go into this vehicle. Now if the livery wasn't a clear giveaway, it can receive an R26B, which is the engine from the Mazda 787B, a purpose-built Le Mans racer. So yes, putting this engine into an early 2000s JDM vehicle is just slightly gonna be a bit overpowered. So now, when you get behind the wheel of the Mazda Rx-7 with such a massive power plant in the vehicle, with it being fully upgraded as well, produces 989 brake horsepower. Yes, there are engine swaps out there with well over 1000 horsepower, but somehow the way that the Mazda is able to actually put the power down, well, the way that the R26B produces its power, you don't actually need much more power than this. What I like about the vehicle is the fact that even with such a high power level, it is still able to manage this power. The car, yes, if you wanted to step out and have the rear tires lighting up, you can. But if you want to take it around a corner very quickly without traction control, you can do that very thing. Now also, when it comes to going around corners flat out, if you're brave enough, you can do it in this vehicle. Personally, I'm not, so I am gonna be letting off when it comes to cornering to just make sure I make it around one piece. But people with a lot more skill can go flat out, because with the downforce that this vehicle produces, okay, it's not as much as the 787B, but it still gives a pretty good amount to keep the car stuck onto the ground. As you can see, the tail coming out there, but that was done on purpose. Wink wink, I wasn't just losing control of the vehicle. So now, slamming your foot on the accelerator, you just hear that 4 rotor actually roar. And wow, this car sounds absolutely incredible no matter what camera angle you use for this vehicle. It is insane to actually think that we can get this level of performance from a 90s JDM vehicle. Now yes, there are faster cars, as I've said, there are faster engine swaps out there. For example, the Honda NSX, which can have the RH414/RE. It's one hectic engine code for a name, but that engine swap is actually faster around the circuit than the Mazda Rx-7. However, there's just something about the Rx-7 that's a bit more special, and it's not just because I'm a bit biased. If you actually been around on my channel for quite some time, or if you actually just go back to the early days of when Gran Turismo 7 was just released, this was actually the first ever engine swap that I received. So yes, I was incredibly stoked by it, and I still am today. There's something about this vehicle, no matter how many times I drive it, I still get such a rush of serotonin. The car is actually, in my eyes, it's perfect, but I think I might be a bit love-struck by the vehicle. Now there is a vehicle, or let me say an engine swap, that I think can really rival this, and that has to be the engine from the Nissan R92CP. That is the main competition for the 787B, and that engine can go into the Nissan R33 as well as the R34. With those engine swap, I feel like it could be a strong competitor for the 787B. So until the day that I receive that swap, we are just gonna have to stick around, and I'm gonna say that this is still one of my favorite engine swaps in Gran Turismo 7. And then when it comes to this vehicle's performance points, fully maxed out on racing softs, max downforce, max power, it's only 826. That means with a little bit of detuning, this vehicle can run in 800 performance points vents. This car runs with some of the fastest cars in the game. And at the end of the day, it's an early 2000s JDM vehicle. It should not be able to do that. I mean, on screen now you're looking at footage of this car casually climbing up to speeds of over 440 kilometers per hour. What? Now with the perfect gear tuning, you can get the car to travel over 450 kilometers per hour. But where this car really excels is endurance events. Now, as I mentioned before, the car can participate in 800 performance points events, but where I see it really shine is with the 700 performance points events around Le Mans. Now, the WTC 700, 825,000 credits for half an hour's worth of racing. Now, this is one of the highest paying events in Gran Turismo 7, and I think the RX-7 that is engine swapped is honestly king at this event. Now, I really put this vehicle in like the top 3 for best cars to use for this event because of the fuel efficiency of this vehicle. Because the vehicle uses an engine from a Group 1 vehicle, it is extremely light on fuel but also incredibly powerful. Now yes, with detuning it to 700 performance points, it loses a lot of that overall performance. However, the fuel efficiency is where this car really takes advantage. This vehicle is able to complete this event with doing no fuel stops. You don't have to refuel it unless you want to run it on fuel map 1. And that is exactly what I did for this event. Now I thought, you know what, let me attempt to do a no stop strat, but then I thought, you know what, let's see the full capabilities of the vehicle now that it's detuned. And the car is still able to travel over 300 kilometers per hour coming down the main straightaway here at Le Mans. And when it comes to braking, cornering, and just overall handling, the car is absolutely exceptional. The car has really great brakes, and I mean, if we look at other engine swap vehicles with roughly the same amount of power, when it comes to braking, they honestly struggle. But with the RX-7, it somehow manages and controls it in such a conservative way that you're able to go quickly around any corner that's thrown at you. So to me, I feel like this car is just overpowered. It's one of the best engine swaps you can get. And now the thing is, we're gonna talk about engine swaps once again. The system to obtain these engine swaps are broken. They are incredibly rare, but if you are fortunate enough to get this engine swap, please try it out. Also, if you don't really like the RX-7 for some reason and you prefer the RX-8, well, the RX-8 can receive the same engine swap. However, I just feel like the RX-7 is somehow a lot more easier to control than the RX-8. Now the RX-7 with the 787B is honestly a pleasure to join, and I wish every single one of you watching this video gets to experience it. However, with the system to obtain engine swaps still being completely against the player, well, it's really a chance of luck if you get the opportunity to experience this vehicle. But if you are one of the very few to experience this, you are very lucky, and don't take it for granted. Jump back into a vehicle, use it, and just experience a whole lot of fun. So this is why this is one of my favorite engine swaps in Gran Turismo 7. However, if you want to see what one of my least favorite are, watch this video on the screen now. Thank you so much for watching, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.